Hey! Evening, people. Mike, you've got to turn your background noise off.
Turn your background.
There you go. What a
That's
fucking
it.
nightmare. Trying to get into this is a nightmare. Jason, if you're watching, sort it out.
How we doing?
Maxine's here because she's upset.
Why?
Because somebody, you told me last week, and I heard through Alamesh that somebody called me a racist. Now, Maxine, if people are watching this, is my partner for nearly 19 years. And as a racist, of course, I'd have one of these, wouldn't I? To beat her up every night, you know, call her names.
Michael.
But as I'm the one that gets beaten up, I mean, Maxine's, not here just to make the tea. And you know her very well, Dave. And you know.
I do.
So there you are.
Hello, Maxine. Nice to see you, darling. You all right?
I'm very
Hey! Looking as gorgeous as ever, Mike. You're not punching, boy. You are punching. I'm telling you.
I get punched a lot.
So, as we're smalling,
We're on live now, so everybody, so whoever's watching this could see you now. Now, is Swifty coming on or anybody else?
I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure who's coming in tonight. I thought Mike keep trying to get in. He's trying, and I thought third time lucky he's going to be right on it.
Always the same, Dave. Keeps trying to
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, it's holiday tomorrow. We're having our
It's
holidays.
what?
I'm off in our holidays tomorrow.
You're going to Cornwall.
Cornwall, going to Cornwall with you. Going to be a wrecker. I'm going to try and evade the excise men and encourage ships to flounder on the Cornish coast. So we go and plunder and murder those that swim ashore and rob them of everything.
I don't think so.
Well, I think so, yeah, because they've probably come from Albania. And so we can. So I'm not being unkind. That is being racist, isn't it? But I mean, wrecking their boats before they get in the water would be a good idea, But I saw a Frenchman stabbing some of these inflatables. Now, why can't they do it at the time? What I don't understand is we've got secret services. So the French, they've got the Sûreté, and we've got MI6 abroad. We know who these people are doing it for. Why are we still putting up with people coming abroad when we've got people abroad who could identify these people and take them out of the game, arrest them, deport them, whatever, and stop all this? But they don't. They say, why are we allowing people to come ashore when we've got the means to stop them in France? We're paying them 80 million.
The thing is, right, I think we're living in a time period where people have really lost their minds, because years ago, when people come to and fro from the country, we didn't have this mindset, and I think it's quite an important issue. Is mindset, and for safety points of view, is I think that people in the 40s and the 50s that were migrating around the world and that had a sense of respect about themselves and a bit of decency, and they wouldn't have got involved in the business that we seem to be getting involved in now, stabbing, rapings. And I think to the audience, it's quite good to let them know that we're only concerned really of a safety issue here. This isn't about, because we know what goes on. We know that basically, and we've had the reports that people have been talking and getting to know a lot of these people that are coming in from France and across the shipping lanes, and they've been told quite clearly that they don't realise who's coming into the country. This the EU army. We're importing the EU army. We've got to be very, very careful on what we let go on. But yeah, Mike. So listen, thanks for bringing Maxine in. I don't know if she's going to be popping back in and out the show tonight.
She's going upstairs to watch, catch up all her soaps. She watches about 47 different soaps, and only she used soap herself. That would be helpful. But
yeah.
No, but I just say, look at Jesus down here. I knew a man who was gay and a black boyfriend. Absolutely, Jesus. I knew someone exactly the same as that. And he really was a little bit prejudiced, and he was prejudiced against Chinese, and for some reason he'd had a bad experience with one, and there you go. Anyway, but yeah, he was accused of being a racist because he didn't like Chinese people. I couldn't care less. I just had Chinese food, so this is me. It's live and let live. It's as simple as that.
What do you think? We're seeing a lot of stuff going on though right now, Mike, aren't we? As in, just there's chaos out there. People, I've been to a job today. I took my velo, my battery packed up the other day. Battery blew up, so I'm motorless at the moment. It was a long way today where I went, and I'm physically quite exhausted. But anyway, this guy's been renting this house out in Maidstone, just off Upper Stone Street, and he rented it to two guys. And whilst they were there for 2 years, they didn't pay any gas bills. So he's renting this place out through Coles & Co. Now, Coles & Co. are a big Medway town letting agent and property people. And what's actually happened is that this energy company, I'm not too sure which one it was, they've actually been into the house without contacting Dennis, the owner, without contacting Coles & Co. They've gone into the house and they've changed the gas and electric meter and put in prepayment ones, and then come out and close the door behind them. Now, we don't know how long they was in there. We don't know what they've done in there. Really and truthfully, I think it's absolutely scandalous that this is going on. And I just wonder what country we are, what kind of a people. So they broke in, yeah. Jesus is saying that they broke in, yeah, they did. But listen, the point is, this isn't an isolated incident. This is happening nationwide. This must be going on a right massive scale right now. So who is behind all of this? And secondly, what have these energy companies become? Because what happened to the fairness? What happened to people just being able to have gas and electric because it's their natural resources and it's their inheritance and it's their right to have it? Where's this gone so badly wrong, Mike?
Well, what's interesting, just while I'm thinking about a reasonable answer to that, because to some degree there is no real reasonable answer. You just see it get very angry, and that doesn't get you anywhere. But the wholesale price gas has tumbled quite a lot over the last week. And but we've not heard anything to say that that's been reflected in our prices in Europe. That they've had they've taken into, they've got 80% of the gas they need for the winter. We closed down our gas storage facilities because we went green. We don't need that. We've got plenty. We got wind. Did you see the wind? The wind turbines that fell over because the winds was too strong. And what about so if we go all this way, how are we going to get electricity when it's dark? So we're relying on energy from the sun. Fine. What about when it gets dark? What do you do? Do we all stand up there with a million torches, like making artificial light? I mean, what do you do? Because I don't see there's no way of storing storing electricity to such a degree that would power the whole country. Now, Doris today said, let's bring out Sizewell C and get on with it. He's put 700 million into Sizewell C. Why has it taken a crisis for the government to realise what I've been saying since the 80s? The only way that we've got to go forward is with nuclear power. Nuclear power, we should have about 8 or 10 nuclear powers. We wouldn't be in this position. We wouldn't be paying the amount of money we're paying that if we had nuclear power. Now, all the tree-huggers who sit out there going, oh, well, you know, nuclear power, we're going to destroy. What? It's the cleanest form of energy. And if they say it's disgusting, the sun is a nuclear bomb going off every day of our lives. You know, then that's proven by the amount of people who get burnt by it and get radiation burns. So it's ridiculous that people sit there and criticise nuclear power when our sun is a nuclear bomb, basically. So I don't follow the logic of that. So as far as I'm concerned, China keep building, India keep building coal-fired burners. Germany have gone back to produce in the interim coal and burning to get power. What are we doing? What is this country doing? We've got North Sea gas. We've got North Sea oil. So why are we struggling? Why are we struggling as a country that produces oil and gas to produce enough to give us the additional population at a reasonable price? Everybody knows it's going to be expensive. But it's ours. It's not the government's. It's ours. It's Great Britain's. It belongs to us, the people, not the fucking government. It's our oil and our gas, not the government. So why are we being discriminated against? Where's all our oil and gas going? If we've got a shortage, why don't they divert that to the mainland? They say, oh well, you know, we can't do that very easily. Why not? We've had oil since the 70s. And before we knew we had all this abundance of North Sea oil. So why haven't we got the infrastructure to get us out of this? Why are we in this situation if we've got all this abundance of energy? It doesn't add up to me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Why don't we just disconnect from the rest of the world and just trade with them and share pleasantries? I don't understand why we get so heavily embroiled with the Yanks, the French, the Germans, and we're all in it together. We're not. We're clearly not. There's a pub that's been open since the Vikings come to England, and it repelled and it stayed out. It's been open for centuries, but it's now, the owners said today that because his bills, his gas and electric, are going to be about £5,700 a month, he just can't cover that. So this pub's it's been through wars, plagues, why this current. It's disgusting, Michael. It's absolutely disgusting.
The problem we've got here is the same. We're in the same vein as COVID. We are being frightened to death. The whole country now is petrified. It's now looking towards the government. Interesting. The government are going to save us. Oh, the government are going to do this like they did with COVID. They locked us down for 2 years, destroyed the economy, destroyed the world we knew and could deal with. So, for what? For fucking cold. Basically, 180,000 people died. How many people died years before when we had serious pneumonia and bronchitis and that? Hundreds of thousands have died in the last years. Not COVID. COVID's just another fucking cold. Those, oh, well, we've got to wear a mask. Why? All right, if you're wearing a mask, why do I need to? You know, if it's protecting you, what are you worried that I haven't got one on for? You know, it gets so this energy crisis is being hyped up out of all proportion. If the Europe, I'm anti-Europe, but if Europe had all of a sudden got enough, suddenly found enough gas to get them through winter, what the fuck has this government been doing, or any politician been doing to ensure that we, as the people that vote them in, and hopefully we'll fucking vote this lot out and not vote Starmer in either. Let's get a load of proper people in there who understand what people want, not what fucking makes what makes the mandarins happy who run the civil service, because they're worse than anybody else. I'd get rid of them too. They are the first to go. They have to go. You cannot have a country run like this. And I don't follow the logic. I do not follow the logic of why, if we've got our own gas and our own oil, we are short of it. Where's it all going? Where's our oil going? We're selling it to who? Why are we selling it to them when we could have? They say, oh, it's not the right sort of oil. It's like it's been raining, not the right sort of rain. No, that just runs off. Oh, that's not making any difference at all. What the fuck are they? They think we're all stupid. You don't have to be David Bellamy to understand when it rains, the ground gets wet. Oh, it doesn't sink in, it just runs off. You know, no, it fucking doesn't. For goodness sake, it comes in. I mean, we're morons. They treat us like morons, and that it cannot be right. You know.
Look, we've got a lot of land up and down the country. If you've got in an aeroplane and down a little Cessna and you flew around, yes, the cities are overpopulated, but this is the bait and the switch, because they've led us to believe that we're overpopulated, but we're not. If you fly over the country, you'll see masses and masses and masses of fields. So let's say we all decided to go solar. You're saying that when the sun goes down, yeah, that's fine. But if we had certain just solar farms collecting that energy through the day, storing it into batteries, and storing it for the nighttime use, I'm sure we could be pretty self-sufficient, because this reason. If there are people out there living in and around this country that are and have their own solar and other bits and bobs to run their house and are completely off grid, then that's self-sufficiency. So if that works for one man and one family, that can work for the whole country. We can be self-sufficient if we choose to be, but the government always wants us in scarcity, fear, la-di-la-di-la, because we're easy to control when we're like that. I just wonder when this madness is going to end. I'm just wondering when enough people are going to say, do you know what, the gloves are off, we're fucking having it. I really do.
They're trying to herd us into a utopian society where we're all reliant on each other in little enclaves. You know. I mean, the thing is, your friend who's bought this. You were telling me about this guy's got some land he's bought out of London.
Yeah.
We won't say where. And and you're thinking of buying or going there, selling up and going there and live a subsistence, because you're clever enough. You're clever enough to do electricity. You're a builder. You know how to lay a brick. You know about carpet. You're a good all-round guy. Well, I mean, if I was going to be cast away on a desert island, I'm going to burn with a big pair of tits. I'd have you. I mean, I'll bring a blow-up doll for you. But I mean, but I have to say, but logically, Dave, I mean, this is what it's coming to. We're being corralled by fear into saying, oh my God. And the governments and successive governments have done this over the years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. COVID is the start. I mean, do you think China and India are taking any notice of what's going on? They're just making money. I mean, there was what's going to happen? Who makes all these batteries, these lithium batteries to run all this stuff? China. Who we buy all that stuff from? China. Who's the most powerful country in the world? China. That's a fact.
Do you think, before because Dell's just joined the show, I want to make this point. What if the energy companies and the fuel companies and the food and everything, mortgages and council tax keeps going like it is? There's got to be a flashpoint, because inflation is going like that. People's wages might be going up a little bit. So there's going to come a point where people that are on credit meters with smart meters and stuff like that can't put a £20 credit on, which is going to last them a day, half a day. What happens then? What happens when people are at home and they can't stay warm, they can't watch the TV? What is going to be the result and the transparency out of that?
They'll keep warm by burning stuff in the streets. There'll be all big bonfires in the street. There'll be people in the street tearing up the infrastructure to keep warm. To tell this government they got it wrong. To tell every government, to tell previous governments that why have you not invested in our future? All you've done is make yourselves rich. Tony Blair, look at Tony Blair. Tony Blair's son is now, his company now, are giving out degrees. You have a degree, we'll give you a degree, in this, because we're going to support you in apprenticeships with roles and all that. How very commendable. Right, and Tony Blair's son is worth 50 million. Right, Tony Blair's son is 50 million quid. Tony's or 80 million even. Tony Blair's worth 50 million. How did Tony Blair get 50 million quid? How does any of these? How do any of these people? When Tony Blair came to power, he had a mortgage of 250 grand. He was struggling to pay. Now, 30 years on, he's a multi-millionaire. Where do you get the money from?
Well, you look. Chris Dunn just made a point. He says maybe in Jamaica, Dave, but there's sun, but never enough here to charge every day. Now, look, I've got a mate that's living down West Country. He's off grid. He's got 2 kilowatts of solar panels. He's got 24 volt, 2 volt batteries all linked up with an inverter. And he said to me last year, he said the only time he has to fire his generator up just to top the batteries off is in around about January time. He said, other than that, the solar and the storage runs everything. And he's using washing machine. He don't use a big cooker. He's found other ways, gas cookers and stuff like that.
So the thing is, that's great. It really is. But logically, it doesn't. That's just like that's because he's fortunate enough to have the space and somewhere we can do that. Majority of people don't have that. They live in cities. They live in streets like we were born in the fact Peckham, Brockley, Lewisham, Deptford. Little 2 up, 2 down, like 3-bedroom little houses. They can't do that. So what do they do? It's all very well to say, like, I've got this, he's doing that, which is brilliant. It really is. But it can't work for 99% of the population. You're fortunate. You can do it because you live in the country and you're capable.
That's right.
But most people aren't capable, and they're not going to. They haven't got that opportunity. So people think they're watching this or listening. There's more than one anyway. But are sitting there thinking, "Oh my God!" It's all very well to say about something. It's back to it makes them elitist, makes them put them in a situation where they become figures of hate, just like do because I can't feed my children. I can't keep it's the most extraordinary feeling thing. I can't look after my kids and my family. How humiliating for a man is that, or a mum who can't turn the stove on to make them breakfast in the morning because they can't afford the fucking feed. That's what the government are getting us to. However, that's the worst case scenario. I really don't think it will get to that. I think it'll be tough, but I really don't think it will get to. I think, in honesty, I think it will be expensive, and I think people will struggle, but it won't get to the point when it going. People on the street going, "What the fuck am I?"
You don't think so?
No, I really don't. I think, and I tell you why. Because a lot of this is hype. The guy from Eon told me a lot of this. Don't believe too much of what you read about these expensive bills. They're going to charge me 7,000-8,000 quid. I think it was a few weeks. Now it's going. I'll put it as I said. I now pay 250 quid a month. Right.
Even so, Mike, it's only gas and electric.
Yeah, I've got no gas here. I'm all electric, right? As you know, my house. Now the thing is, Dave, you saw here. What do we have on? We got just the fridges and the computers, right? So suppose that costs, even if it costs £10 a day to run them, that's 300 quid a month, just for them. Right.
Let's bring Dale in, Mike. Let's bring Dale in. See what Dale has to say. Dale, you there, babe?
Yeah, Dave, how are you doing? I haven't spoken to you for a while. How are you both doing, by the way? I needed to come on because I haven't spoken to you for a while. I just thought I needed to. I'm good. I just wanted to catch up with Dave. I've been meaning to come on for a while now. I've been doing some stuff, but I just needed to see Dave because I haven't spoken to him for a bit, and I just thought, I've got the chance tonight to do it. It just so happens you were speaking about an area that's actually quite relevant. And me and Dave know this because a while back, me and Dave. We're discussing this very issue and we did some private stuff, and I assume they've left you alone since then, Dave. Is that correct?
They pretty much they send their stuff in the post, but I just check it in the bin. So yeah. I'm actually waiting for them to go to court. If they ever want to go to court again, man, I'm ready for them now.
Can I say, Dale, as you're on there, can I put my feet up and sit back and be educated? Because it usually is an education when he comes on. So where you go, mate? Because I can't wait for this.
Okay, go on.
Well, me and Dave would, like I said, we did something a little while ago because the principle is there is no money. This is the thing that they're not talking about. There is no money because we're operating in Chapter 11 bankruptcy since they've been since the gold standards were taken off. So there is no money. Dave knows this as well as I do. And we worked on this and we did something a while with Dave. This was ages ago. I just assumed that because we did what we did, they've left him alone. They pretty much have done, which is fine because they can't come with a true bill because they don't have one. So what Dave did, which is what we did, was because there's only a charge can only be discharged, but the principle we did, and so far they've left him alone because they can't come with a true bill because there is no contract and there is no true bill. The issue with the guy in regards to the guy at his house with the coming in with the meters, the only thing I can think of is under the 86 Act, they've under the 86 Act, they've probably gone to court, but they'll have tried to use I think it's a 54 one because they're not allowed to move. Yeah, they're not allowed to move anything out the house, which means they've knows if only when it comes to life and danger to other people, which is the 54 one. Now, if the guy's got if the other guy hasn't paid the electric bill or whoever's in the other house, to be fair, he would have an argument in the sense of, well, I've got a tenant in the house. It's their job to pay the bill. Here's my contract saying that they're there to pay the bill. If they didn't pay the bill, you can't come and change the meters. You've got to go and chase that tenant because according to my agreement, the tenant was supposed to pay it. You can't come and move the meters from my house because the tenant didn't pay the bill. The tenant, you've got to chase the tenant for that. You don't remove my meters. So the first thing that's gone wrong there, where he's gone bang to rights, is the fact that they've come into his house, removed the meters when previously he'll be able to prove that when whoever previously went to the house, the bills were being paid. So they shouldn't have removed the meters in the first place. Now, if they want to go down that route, that's even better because me and Dave know how to deal with that. Let them take the meters, go one even better. Get yourself a certified electrician and a gas engineer certified, and get your own meters in. Move their meters out, put them on notice, move their meters. Dave's done this anyway. Move their meters out, put your own meters in, and so long as they are certified by a gas and electrical engineer and they're certified to be safe to the safety standards, they can't come in and remove the meters because they can't use the 54 Act. And I know plenty of people that have done that. But that's essentially where Dave is at the moment. And we just did and he just said, well, at the end of the day, send me the bills. And they keep saying, well, okay, send me the bills. And I said, well, if they send you the bill, you apply this discharge to it. And that's what Dave's been doing. And they've left him alone because there is no money. So you can only discharge the charges. Hence why if anybody's got a bank gyro credit, because there's no money, if you've got a bank gyro credit, when they get that bill, you'll see that you'll see that on the bill, it's got your legal fiction at the top, and you'll see that you've got two sets of numbers. One's got dashes on, and the other one's got a 7 number on. That's the credit. What you're supposed to do. And Dave discussed it at length, and he's done it anyway. He's discharged the charges, and that's it. And they come in and claim that off the bond. That's all you need to do.
Can I just ask a question? Can I ask you,
go ahead.
Why can't we install our own meters and buy our own electricity from the grid?
I don't know about buying your own electricity from the grid, but you can install your own meters so long as you've got a gas and somebody who's certified in electricity to make sure that they've been safety thing. Yeah. So long as you've got that, that's what Dave's done anyway.
Yeah, the point I'm making is like if these electricity companies are buying from the grid, they're just acting as brokers. They're broking it. Why can't we go to the same people as them and buy our own electricity at the price they get it and pay them direct? What's to stop us doing that?
I've no idea. The only thing I know people have been successful at doing is the way that I've just said. In terms of buying the electric directly from source, I assume that depending on which companies are doing that, they might not do business with you individually. They might because it's all sewn up, as Dave knows this, they're all sewn up, the markets are sewn up in a certain way that you can't buy wholesale privately directly. No, I can say, for instance, it was British Gas that was doing the electricity and they've got to maintain the pipes, whatever, and supply the electricity. You can't have a private contract with British Gas, so to speak, or whoever's running the power stations. You have to have some sort of commercial version of it, which that's how they able to raise all the prices, because nobody's having private contracts with any of the companies. They're all in commercial jurisdiction you can do commercial contract, which means that's how they set the tariffs. So it's not like you can buy directly from wholesale. I think it's how they do the legislation. Because I've not known anybody who does it privately like that. I get what you're saying, but as far as I know, the companies won't let you do it.
So what's to stop? Just supposing we were clever enough, or people were open-eyed enough to say, well, okay, look, there's 5 million, or there's 25 million people, 20 million people living in Kent, Surrey, Sussex, whatever. We are sick and tired of these people. We want to form our own company and buy our gas and sell it at no profit to us, the people. Because at the end of the day, why not? So if 25 million or 20 million people, just for argument's sake, doesn't matter, got together and formed a company where we're all shareholders, and we took and we paid for our. What's to stop us doing that? Forming our
You
own.
can do it that way, yeah. That way can be done, because at the end of the day, you set your own trust up. Everybody will put in, and then you buy a power station, so to speak, and then you just that's probably the best way of doing it. And then you just set up your own thing that you're doing. But that would mean you have to have a collective, a group of people that you all put in, and therefore you would buy the actual processing plant, and then obviously then you could just have your power sent direct to you. That way you could do it, but that would require you getting a lot of people to do it.
The thing is, Dale, we hear about a lot about green. Oh, we supply you green energy. How do they? Well, have we got like little special lines that say only green energy goes down this line? And goes down that. Only one side of the cable goes green, the other side goes, and this one is that. It's bullshit. What are they talking about? This is green energy. There is no electricity. Is electricity. You don't differentiate where it comes from. I mean, they're buying it from, well, we're buying it from reasonable source. They're buying it from the grid where it all comes in, and they're buying it from the grid at whatever price, and make, as David will tell you, was it £2 out of every 100 is profit for the grid, and 98% goes to the energy companies. Now, and which of that, about 40% goes to our pension funds, which is and everything else that we set up. Now, the reality is that if we, as a people, as a company, if this nation would just for once stand together and say, we're going to negate all the energy companies. We want the UK, or everybody in the UK, this entire country wants our own company to say, fuck off the lot of you. We want one company, and we want it at the rates that you get it for. Why can't we as a country do that and tell these people to fuck off and go back to the hole they crawled out of? Because we don't need this. I mean, if they can buy it for and pay their dividends to all these shareholders, why can't we as a nation say, we don't need the middleman? This is our country, our coal, our electricity, our sunshine, because we're shining on the righteous here, our gas, our oil. Why can't we? It's not the government. It's not the government's, as I said earlier. It's not the government's oil. It's not the government's gas. It's our gas. It's our oil, and they spend our money to produce it. And what are they doing with it? We're facing bills between 3,000 and 6,000 quid a year. Okay, which is unaffordable for 90% of the people in this country. They can't afford it. So why can't we tell the government, what are you doing with our oil, our gas, and everything else? Where's it all going? Why aren't you using our oil and gas to supply our country? Are you selling? Where are you selling it? What are you doing with it? Why is it coming here to be used by us as a nation? Why did you close down the gas storage plants? Why have you got this attitude that is anything other than the Brits? They hate. These governments must hate us because they're not looking after the nation that puts them in power. The best thing we can do is get someone like you, Dave, and whoever in power, vote them in, and stand there and go, fuck you, and you're done. And all these mandarins in the civil service who sit there like feeling, I'm being made a lord next week. I'm going to make I'm only on 275,000 a year plus. I mean, meanwhile, poor sods like some guy down the road sitting there crying with 3 kids who can't afford to give them porridge in the morning are sitting there crying their eyes out because they can't afford it. Well, these motherfuckers can. It's bang out of order. And it's about time this country got together and said, no, that's enough. And they won't. For whatever reason, they won't. But if only they would. If only they stopped paying their bills for 3 months and bring the banking system to its knees, and so give us the rates that we want. Never mind inflation. It's bullshit. Sorry.
No. If the thing is, you've got to raise what actual inflation is. This is the issue that I keep being devil. That's why I refer to people not knowing what money is and value. Because of the Bank of England, due to, we mentioned it earlier, the coronavirus and all this other stuff, we're running in debt. We're running in debt, but they want that deliberately because when the quantitative easing puts in, it devalues the currency. That's what inflation is. That's what the problem is. It's not that it's the monetary policy of the Bank of England that's causing all these rate rises. It's not by chance that this is happening. the reason why they're doing this is because, again, and then Dave's familiar with this anyway, due to this global currency and this new world order, NWO nonsense that they've got put, they have to order out of chaos. They have to have complete chaos. So if you look at what you've just been, if you look at, for instance, it's not just gas and electric. If you look in the Netherlands, even over here, they've been offering the farmers the subsidies for land so the farmers retire. This is, you mentioned it earlier with the green agenda, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, whatever they want to call it next week, Agenda 2040. They want to have this. The problem with this is this carbon net zero, and with this green agenda, because this is what's forcing the issue with the money and the inflation issue. Because if you're going to have net zero, you can't rely on old sources of energy. So they want to create these new sources of energy, which are completely unsustainable, because you can't do that based on the needs of the nation. And you're absolutely right. So therefore, this is part of this pushing the prices up with this green agenda, because they already know that they want you in destitute. And if you look at the World Economic Forum, they want you in complete destitution, because then you'll accept you'll own nothing, so to speak, as Klaus Schwab. You'll accept whatever it is they're going to offer you. So it's the people are going to have no choice but to fight back, because if you don't, what they're going to offer you is going to be far worse than what it is now. And that's the whole reason why they're building all this nonsense up, because again, like Dave said earlier, this is fear. They want trauma-based fear, because that's how the souls down here are being fed off. This is the thing about the bigger battle. So they want everybody in trauma down here in the first place. That's the whole point of what they're doing. The issue is people having awareness to say, you're right, not to pay the bills and not to contract, because again, there is no money. So the best things people can do is not vote for government, because that's a contract and you're agreeing for them to govern you, and you don't want to be having your own mental governed. And second of all, not to pay your bills. And I know there's this movement at the moment that's going around with getting people not to pay the bills, because that is how you will shut them down, is by not paying the bills. That's the only way it's going to work, because at the end of the day, people are going to have a choice. You can't pay the bills because at the end of the day, there's just simply just not going to be enough funds in place. So people have to make a choice. They're going to have to stand together with no option and say, right, well, we're not going to pay no bills. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that, and grind it to a halt. That's the only option that people are going to have, because it's going to get to a point where it's unsustainable. People can't afford to be paying £3,000 bills this October coming next month. And then in January, it's going to be close to 6,000. You've got people that are just full to the hilters with running on the treadmill as it is. They're just I can't afford to do it. So they're going to have to get together collectively and say, right, we're not going to pay no bills and shut this whole thing down. We don't pay taxes. We don't go to work. But it's going to have to take something on that kind of level where people are saying enough is enough. Otherwise, you're going to get a scenario where they're going to just make this worse and worse and worse until they can offer people.
Just to take that a step further, yesterday I got a bill from DHL. I bought something in Turkey, just as an aside, and to get to the point you're making about everything not paying stuff. I bought something in Turkey, and it was brought in to this country, and in it there are charges for what? And there are three taxes on it. Now, under Magna Carta, I believe, or whatever, I believe that it's illegal not to pay tax on tax. But we pay tax. We pay tax on petrol, then pay VAT. We pay VAT and then on tax goods, basically. So the point of so getting to the where you are, that by shutting down the government is all very well and good, but we're still giving them money. You know, the only way you can bring the
that's what I'm talking about, though. Yeah, that's why I said don't go to work. Deny them. Yeah, don't go to work. That's because you're not paying tax when you're not working. That was my whole point. You're right, because you have to shut them down on multiple vectors. You're being attacked on multiple vectors with this, and you get right. We didn't have tax in this country in terms of the taxes recently. I think Peter of England used to speak about this. I think it was the tax was only brought in to fund the Second World War. It wasn't supposed to be kept permanent anyway. A lot of people don't realize that either. They haven't studied. You know what I mean? Nobody should be paying tax. Again, what did the money? It tells you the Heliotech in their book. What did he do? It chased the money chasers out the temple. It creates usury. What is usury is strictly forbidden. This is why in Muslim countries they don't pay taxes. Usury creates involuntary servitude. That's slavery. You're not supposed to pay taxes.
The thing is, this country's been paying taxes since forever. However, income tax was brought in by William Pitt the Younger to finance the Napoleonic Wars. Okay, that's the fact. And then after the war was finished, they stopped it. They thought, we thought about that. So a few years, not so many years later, they thought this is a really good idea. Let's tax income, and which went down rather badly. But they continued doing it, and people were forced to pay it. And then they brought tax on gin, blah blah blah. So basically, here we are where we are today. So how we cannot stop paying tax to the government. There is no way you can do it because they tax everything. I think 60% of what we spend our money on is taxed. In fact, it's 6% of what we earn goes in tax one way or the other, and we're left with 40,000. And even that 40, if you invest it, is put into a trust or whatever. Unless you've got 20 grand put in an ISA, which I just did actually. But you put 20 grand in. But I mean, if you put an ISA, you're going to get a minimum amount. I mean, I had 150,000 quid in one account, and it paid me £18 in £18 a month in interest. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I was
there's no point banking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's no point banking.
Yeah, but the point
There's no point banking. That's the point. The banking. Yeah, but then again, so what you need to do, because you're in a position where you can do that, you've got to diverse yourself into other assets. Absolutely. That's what you've got to grow. Your gold, silver, buying businesses. You diverse that into other assets that's going to generate you an income. Not an income, but funds, because income is, again, it's their terminology. You generating funds in a bare trust that are not taxed if it's in a bare trust. So again, it's where you put the funds as well, offshore, or where you choose to bank. Because again, that's also part of what the rich, the super elite, and the rich do. Go ahead,
guys. Just to change the subject.
Right, Dave.
Has anyone seen the latest Max Egan video?
I watched one where he talked about the 5G stuff, and he's talking about all the tech they've been doing. I watched that when he did recently, fairly.
Just done this one today, and it shows two individuals in two different countries. One of them is a guard at a train station. All of a sudden, he stops, he looks up, he puts his arm up in the air, he spins round twice, and then he falls under the train, and the train's going over him. And there's another guy somewhere else in the world who's in a bank, and all of a sudden, he turns round, he looks up, he puts his arm in the end, he spins round twice, and then he falls over, fits on the floor, and dies. And that's what this is. I can show you if you want, but it bothered me immensely.
The other thing I think about is there've been I quite refer to it as MK Ultra style mind control programming, but I think those who have had the poke, and I think I've shown it. Dave knows about those who've had the poke. I was talking about this on my show the other day. Those who've had the poke and the nanotech, it could be something to do with them bodies being genetically changed. That's what I'm thinking, along the lines of some kind of mind control programming they're using there with the frequencies, and they've sent them doolally. That's what I'm thinking. Because like you said, Dave, the spin round twice, they put the hands in the air. Well, that to me is MK Ultra. That's kind of mind control programming where they do that kind of stuff, where they're doing that kind of trauma-based programming, where they're doing that stuff. So that would make sense if that's what's going on, and it's the technology that's in your body, that's your body's in our antennas because you took the poke. And obviously, they can transmit the frequencies that can send you doolally. And I think I don't know if he's talking about that, but that's what it would make sense with me, is that somebody's been at the poke and they've had their antennas fried.
Can I just develop this a little bit more? In America, somebody was interviewing just to how we're being conditioned, and they were interviewing a principal of a school. And he didn't know he'd being filmed, and he's sitting there rather pleased with saying, "I don't employ Catholics, I don't employ conservatives. I employ people who are lefties, basically wokey lefties, and they are. That's it. Oh no, that's not it. No, oh no, it wasn't him. This was someone else. This is a guy who was." a school, a principal in the school. So basically, and he was saying, so the woman said, so what you're doing, you're conditioning all these children to be Democrats, I should say, in the future. And so basically, they're going to vote lefty. They're going to vote for this woke society, which is bullshit. And we know it's bullshit. And you cannot. And the children are being got at so badly that you just cannot believe what these kids are being sort of pushed through this and without knowing, and the parents are not being told because there's nothing to tell, because it's not politic. The children are just being conditioned to do whatever. It's the most extraordinary thing and the most awful thing, and I think that what's going on with our kids is appalling.
Shocking. It's big time, MCAT. Like the schools now, it's not about learning ABCs, it's about being politically aligned. It's got nothing to do with education.
Are you a girl or a boy? Are you a girl or a boy?
Yeah, they're transgender.
3 years old, 4 years old. Are you a girl or a boy? What the fuck is this?
Yeah, that transgender issue I covered on my show probably about 2 weeks ago. They're doing stuff in Philadelphia. Yeah, it's disgusting. That's all to do with this is again to do with this satanic stuff where they're trying to sexualize. Disney, where they're sexualizing the children and getting them to do stuff at an early age. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgraceful. The agenda, and you've obviously got the thing that was going on there where you had the transgenders recently at the libraries reading to children and stuff like that, and you're talking about them being fair game. It's disgusting. They're trying to sexualize the children. This society is going decrepit. I totally agree with you. It's vile. I mean, I covered something on Pennsylvania where a child was encouraged to go pole dancing. I think the child was maybe 9 or 10 doing pole dancing while the transgender were watching. It's disgusting what they're doing. It's vile. I agree with you completely.
I fear I mean, I've got grandchildren. You know, my granddaughter of 22. I've got a granddaughter of 14 going on 30, and a grandson of 18, 19. And I have to say that, I mean, I fear not for them, but for their children. You know, because what sort of a world would anybody of us three on here, and anybody watching this, would any of you genuinely really want to bring a child into this world right now? To face what? To face a world which is full of left-wing, utopian wankers. I was going to say the C word, but we can't say that because we're too nice. But those see you next Tuesday people are not the nicest people, and they're betraying the trust that we as adults give them on a daily basis to educate our children. They're not educating them. They're brainwashing our children into becoming socialist communists. So they'll become factory fodder. It gets back to Utopia. Sir Thomas More wrote this book, this book called Utopia, which he wrote as a joke. He thought it was funny. But it's all been taken up by Utopia, this ideal that we can have all these little mini cities where everybody goes to work there, everybody goes on holiday there, and you can walk everywhere, everything that's done there, and you get up on a Monday morning, you go to work, and you work till Saturday, and you get one day off to go and do whatever the government suggests that you should do, and spend whatever the government thinks you should spend your money on, and then you go back to work on Monday. That's where we're going, and that's what people are being conditioned to do. Because by denying them their civil rights and liberties, they are taking away the fundamental right to say, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to work in a place like that. Go fuck yourself. And that's basically what they're taking away. And that's what we've got to get back to. We've got to get back to the right where people say, go fuck yourself. No, I'm not doing that. Not for you, not for anybody. You know, if I want to do it, I'll do it for myself and my family. Not because you think it's a good idea. And people have got to get away and get back to the realities that when me and Dave, and perhaps you too, were young, when I was a little boy, when I was 5, 10, 15 years old, when governments, you knew the Prime Minister was, and that was it. We knew who Ernie Marples was, and because he built motorways. What we didn't know is that Ernie Marples' family were road builders, and he got all the contracts. That wasn't said, but that's beside the point. But but we knew that who Winston Churchill was, because Winston Churchill won us the war. We didn't understand he was a lousy leader of the Conservative Party during peacetime, because he wasn't that sort of guy. He had great ideas, but they were great ideas about shooting and killing people. That was fine. But Winston Churchill was fundamentally a colonialist. And a guy who believed in empire, and he believed an empire for good, not for bad. And that's the reality. But where we are right now is nowhere. We're between nowhere. We're in a vacuum created by successive governments to condition us to be animals, to be milked, to be discarded when we're of no more further use. Just like they're doing in China. Just like with Rohingya people, when they're creating genocide, but we're still buying stuff from them. I try very hard now not to buy anything from China. I won't buy anything from China. I mean, I cannot. The thought of spending any money there is disgraceful. And what have we got in America? America, the most powerful country in the world, is now not the most powerful country in the world. It's because it's got a man at the helm who doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't understand what's going on. He's given stuff to read, and he can't read it. He can't even walk up the stairs of a plane. So this is what we've got. So what do we do as a free world? We're not a free world. We are being systematically destroyed as a race of free-thinking people by successive governments who want to do what with us? Make themselves rich as elites and use us as people to work for them as slaves. And we take up what they don't want. And that's where we are right now.
We need to become self-governing again. There's a guy I watch on America, Freedom from Government, Trey, his name is. He's quite a large white dude, and he's traveling around with his private plates on his motor, and there's more and more people now stepping away. We need to be self-governing, and we need people in these positions of what you would want to call government, literally just running the corporations, running the business like it used to be. We, the people, were never supposed to be part of this swindle. Government and that was set up to run their business, councils run their business from the businesses. They were never supposed to come across our private thresholds. They really, really wasn't. And this is where we've gone so badly wrong. And it is, to my mind, it is a mafia. And everything they've been doing over the last few years is maybe their final solution and their final plan. I don't know. Have we seen the really dark side of it yet? Not a chance.
No, we've still got some way to go. I agree, Dave. There's still some way to go. And this is why I said earlier, this is part of this new world order. It's not finished. We're still in the 7 years of revelation period. So we've still got more tribulation still yet to go. I'm thinking 2025, they're going to try and get this most of it down. But my point has always been that they need us. We don't need them. The problem is the people, like you said, Dave, is people are not self-governing. They don't realize. That's the biggest thing. I think the biggest thing is the illusion itself. The people don't realize that actually the world was never supposed to be full of this monstrosity we're seeing right now, with the people being poked all over the place and being poisoned. The temple of man being destroyed by these plagues. This is real revelation, and they're actually doing this to the people. And it is, for me, it's a battle of consciousness. It really is. And the meek shall inherit the earth. Well, it will be the case, because I've been doing the work on this, looking at the projections for the humanity in general. And there's going to be a mass exit in the stage going left. There's going to be a mass exit of people leaving, because they're going to be taken out by the pork. And those of us that left to fight in this last vespers of revelation will be the ones that know the truth. And we're not going to go out begging them. So it's going to be interesting. They can have whatever agenda whatever they want. They're not going to get their own way. It's going to be a battle to the end. I'm not going out begging them. I can tell you that much now. So I'm ready for it, man. I'm like you, Dave. If they're going to come, let them bring it. You know what I mean? I want them to bring it. And every time they want the battle over and done with, they never turn up. They keep running off and hiding somewhere. So I think the biggest thing is they're trying to mind control the people, and that's the only thing they've got left. So it's a battle of consciousness.
Can I just say, after listening to all this, I feel like I want to commit suicide, because it's. I mean, can anybody remember sitting on one of these programs and across the planet. A lot of people do this. They do all this. They do that. Report what's really going on, not what MSNBC and the BBC and all successive CNN do, which is all bullshit and lies. I mean, but when's the last time we sat on one of these and talked about things that made us all happy? When the last time we had something to sit and say, what a great thing, and we sat and laughing our heads off, continuously laughing about how good things were, how things were going so well. I can't remember the last time I sat and thought how good things were, and that shows you how bad things are when you can't think of anything good that's going on. The only thing I can think of right now that might be of good is that Liz Truss is talking about getting rid of speed limits. Okay, well, fuck me. I wish she'd done that when I found my Ferrari and my Maserati, because I mean, I was not it made me difference on speed limits, but that's beside the point. The point is, I mean, there is nothing to feel good about. They're not given anything, nothing to make us feel better about anything at all. Nothing.
Speeding, Mike. The whole speeding issue, road traffic safety,
commercial.
Is all. There you go. It's about the money. Exactly. It is not about keeping you safe. If it was about keeping you safe, all of our judges would have little rainbow farts and dust flying everywhere. They'd be so in love with you when you walked in them courtrooms. Oh, how can we help you today? Oh, we want to keep you safe. When you go into these places, these people are like demons. Yep. They scorn it. They spear you like a serpent across the table. So it's all about money. Speed limit 36 and a 30. There's another £100. We got police vans set up the top of the road by the Buffalo in Chart Saturn. He gets there early in the morning so he can catch the rush hour when people are trying to get back, and he catches them on the way. It's all about money. It ain't about safety. It's not about you being able to get home safe, making sure the kids ain't being run over. It ain't about that. It's about money. It's about entrapment. They've entrapped you with the license. They've entrapped you with the DVLA logbook. They've deceived you, and the deception upon deception upon deception ain't going to stop until we fucking wake up.
All about money. It's all. Yeah. I mean, what's it say? Money's the root of all evil. No, it isn't the root. It is evil because it kills people. It destroys lives. It destroys societies. It's taken away what makes us human beings, which is we're basically all born good. We're not bad. We're not born bad. We're made bad. We're made bad by avarice. We're made by I didn't get this, I didn't get that. That's because they never had fuck all in the beginning, you know. And that's not their fault. That's just the way it is because people can't get on. They're not given a chance. I mean, I was coming out like Dave. Dave's doing all right, you know. But he had to work hard for it. I did all right. I made a huge amount of money, you know. But I started off with nothing. I went through shit until I was 21, you know. And then I pulled myself out and I made myself millions of quid, and I had a great time. Spent every fucking penny. I had a fabulous time. But that's what money's for. Not sitting in the bank thinking, look at me, I'm so fucking rich, I'm so healthy, I'm so lucky. No, you're not. What you are, you're going to die and you're going to go to heaven. Someone will say to you, so with your millions of quid, what did you actually do with it? What did you do, Bill Gates, other than kill people? What did you fucking do, you piece of shit? What did you do, Bill Clinton? What did you do, Hillary Clinton, you fucking scumbags? What did you do? Nothing. They did nothing. They continue to do nothing other than take to enrich themselves on our backs. And all politicians are the same. They don't give a fuck about us. They only give a fuck about themselves.
That's what people have got to realize. This is the problem where I said earlier on with the issue of voting. It's a contract. You don't need to vote. Don't vote for any of them because these people are psychopaths. They're complete narcissists. They're psychopaths. Yeah. They are so self-centered. It's all about me. That's a dog and pony show. And they're going to quote Joe Salente here. Politics is show business for ugly people. They're a bunch of complete wankers. They're all insane.
Yeah, that's well
we all know that. We all know that. So the issue is people just need to stop contracting with them. That's the biggest thing they can do. And then you mentioned self-government. You mentioned your self-government, and you mentioned the money thing. People need to know what money actually is. Money's not evil. The issue is who created the money and how it's used, because this is why I get into the issue with what, and I'll quote my quote, convocation, and the issue of this, and Dave knows about this, the 62 AKV, because it's not the money, it's how they use the money to control you and manipulate you. That's what people don't get, because you are the money based on how they create these birth certificates and these bonds, that you are creating the fiat or fix it again tomorrow. So people don't know what money really is and how it's created, and how we are used in terms of the sweat equity through the pricking of the soles of the feet, how we're used as living souls to create the fake illusion around us, which is why I say it's has to be a battle of consciousness, because once people realize what money is and realize how it's being used, then you have a position where you don't allow it to control you in the same way is what you're saying now, for negative purposes, which is what they're using it for.
Can I just
it's
say
the energy that they're using it for. We've been fed off. We've been fed off like Duracell back in the Matrix. We've been fed off, and that fear, which Dave mentioned there, is what they're feeding off. That's what they want us in his root chakra, in fear, not raising his consciousness. Despite this whole part of the cosmos making changes that I'm completely aware of that are going on right now, and they know that. Hence, why they're getting the poke into everybody, and why they're causing fear, because they know there's a bigger shift going on that they can't control, that they're scared of. But go ahead, Dave.
Can I just say, in the 20s, there was a woman, I don't know if you've heard of her, she was called Dorothy Parker. She's the woman that came out with these witticisms. They had this thing at the round table in the Algonquin in New York, which I've actually been to and sat at the table. It's very famous, Robert Benchley, and all these wonderful, weird and wonderful people, these Ben Hecht, who are fabulous at the time, in the 20s and the 30s. And she went and write screens, she wrote poetry, she wrote books, she did all kinds of stuff. But she made some good stuff. She's, besides saying she could speak 18 languages, couldn't say no in any of them. She said this: if you want to know what God thinks of money, look at the people he gave it to. And I think that just about sums it up.
And it just,
really do.
Yeah.
And that's a fact. I mean, because, if God didn't give it to him, we know who did, don't we? That fucking scumbag who lives on your left shoulder.
I got banned on Facebook yesterday because I said, wouldn't it be ironic if all the CEOs of these energy companies were hung from the lampposts in the street that they were up?
I'm surprised, Dave. So they banned you. They banned you, did they?
No, they put a 7-day block on it. I was laughing.
Mussolini.
Can you just see the CEO of EDF hanging from a light bulb that he's?
Yeah, it works for me. Well, it's going to come. The thing is, it might come to that.
What do you think is coming down?
But I think it probably will.
See what because Dale's he does a lot of stuff, man, that we couldn't even comprehend. What do you think people are going to do, Dale? What do you think the attitude's going to be?
Interesting. I'll talk about some of the stuff that is going on, more world level that are kept quiet. But the Vatican, because you know me, I know who's really doing this stuff. The Menes Hair Bankster cult. They're moving their assets back to the Vatican Bank. So obviously with this new world order and this new agendas that's coming, this global currency reset, and obviously I did a talk on it with me and Jason. Know what I did, and obviously that got pulled off of Facebook because there's too much information in that. Due to the fact that we're in this, I call it this second half of the revelatory period. Because remember, they're playing out a script. What people don't realize is nothing happens by chance. Everything happens with purpose with these people. It's not by chance. What people have to get, everything you're seeing right now around you is purpose. It's not chance. It's just that people don't realize. They all think that it's all happening by chance. No, it's not. It's all happening with a purpose in place. So in regards to the SDR special drawing rights and the global currency reset, if you're going to what I call give us this fake version of a Christ they're trying to give us, then they're going to have have chaos before they bring in any kind of so-called order. So as far as I'm aware, Vatican as of this month, because we're now in September, we're in the 7th month, not in the 9th month, but they didn't teach you that either because they've lied about the Gregorian calendar, and I covered that recently on Truth and Compromise. This whole realm, due to what's happening with the Black Sun, this whole realm is due for we're in a bigger reset phase. We're at the end of Age of Pisces, we're in the Age of Aquarius, but we're also at a grander cycle on the grander wheel. So they now know that there is a bigger reset that they've got to do. Hence why they're getting everybody screaming and shouting on every kind of thing you can think of. no matter what it is, they've got everybody traumatized because there's a bigger shift going on that they don't want the people to see. So that's basically what's going on in a nutshell sense, that they've got an awareness that there's a bigger shift coming. They knew it was coming, and that they had to get everybody out of sync for when this natural shift would occur. And so if everybody's not out of sync, then they're not going to be able to be in tune with the earth and go up with the earth's vibration and move to the next state of being. They knew this was coming, and that's why they've did the poke to get everybody sick, so that you're not functioning on the higher level when the energies come. They've got you scared about stuff that's not even relevant with the money, which is part of this global currency reset that they're doing, because they fully intend on getting that up through with the SDRs. They've changed the stuff at the UPU and the postal union stuff to include the SDR. So I definitely know that they're going to use special drawing rights because it's in the UPU convention, and I've got the old ones and the new ones, and it's in the new convention now. So they're going to use SDRs. The issue I've got at the moment is, when are they going to change this Piscean construct with this maritime stuff to ether-based, which is air-based? That's why everything's going on online, and air-based into this fake version of Aquarius one. And that's what I'm watching at the moment. That's the moving stuff around with BlackRock. The moving stuff around with obviously the World Economic Forum. They're trying to get this stuff with the climate change stuff, with carbon, net zero, and all this stuff. So they're pushing all these agendas to try and get this thing in place. So I'm just observing that at the moment. But yeah, the biggest thing is the Vatican have moved they're moving the assets to the Vatican Bank, which means when they're doing that, that means that something financial is going to be happening fairly shortishly. When, I can't predict which month, but I know it's coming shortly because they're going to be moving the stuff to the Vatican Bank. So that's no joke. If the Holy See are making moves, that's when you know system is going to shift, because they're running the fake system, and they're running the Piscean one and this fake version of Aquarius one they've got sat behind under the SDRs, waiting in the wings into this new world order to bring to the masses. So we're going to have some chaos before we get any kind of order.
Well, we can just keep holding the lanterns. We can keep burning the candles. What's this lad's channel, please, Dave? But ask Bud Presser. Del, how can people find you?
We're on this network, aren't we? We're both on here. We're both on Wake Up UK. So we've been covering. Me and Dave cover this kind of stuff because we kind of seen what we saw. We saw it was coming years ago. So yeah. So basically, I do my show on a Tuesday at 9 p.m. And again, this is what I've been covering, this inflationary stroke New World Order stuff, because that's what they've got planned. Now, I'm not afraid of what they've got planned, because I don't fear them, because I know there's other stuff that's going on beyond the realm that I'm aware of, which is I talked about the black sun. So the sun you see up there is not actually real. It's a reflected light due to the black hole, due to what happened during electric wars that was put in place. So there's a bigger shift in this part of the cosmos, in this part of the realm that I'm aware of that's coming. And that's why they're desperately trying to put these other things in place ahead of time, because they're trying to get something in position in place so that they can move us from this old construct to their new one, and thus resetting the blacks are resetting the realm for a global currency reset. When they're about to do that and they start to shift that, and this is all to do with this the interfaith conferences we're having with all new world religion, they'll have all one religion under one roof, it's all part of that as well. Then they're going to set it all in place, so they give us this what I call fake version of Aquarius, which is basically a fake system functioning like the old one did, but it can't function on maritime water law. It has to function on the ether, because we're going Aquarian, because the realm, due to the galactic shifts that we have every 2,000 years, where the realm has energetic shifts, and when we have these shifts, that means the whole realm has to shift. That's why they're moving things the way they're doing it. They're not doing it because they want to do it. It's because they know they have to do it. Because if the realm shifts, they've got to shift with the realm itself. And that's what the masses are not taught cosmological science. They have no idea how the clock or the wheel is run. Now, in regards to that sun, the black sun, there's a whole other thing beyond that that's also coming in as well. So we might even be away from even what we see, the sun that we see outside, that's out there now. That whole thing, I'll give you an idea of what it'll look like. If anybody wants to reference what the realm used to look like before we used to have the sun and the moon, just watch Avatar. So the beings that were here back when we was on Itara on 5D, was that in tune with the earth. The trees used to light the earth, and vibration being in tune with the earth, you'd light up the realm. So that's what beings used to do back then. So if you watch Avatar, that's similar to how this realm used to be before the hijack was put in. So that's potentially what we're going back to, is how the realm used to be, how it was before all this nonsense was put here. That's one of the potential futures. And this is why they've been using like CERN and Brookhaven and stuff, because they've been trying to use the looking glass. If you watch X-Men with Patrick Stewart, and he gets into that chair with the looking glass technology, that's what they're showing with the stuff at Montauk and stuff. They've been trying to look into using the technology. The Vatican have got it. They've been using time tech, the technology, to try to look into the future, so they can predict what's going to happen. Now, up until 2012, from what I looked into, they could get up to that point, and then there was something stopping them going past that point. They wasn't allowed to get past that point while was it under the galactic core, just to how this our solar system, this part of the universe works. When we came out on September the 23rd, 2017, because it's in the book in Revelation, because they don't teach you that either, we entered into that 7-year cycle that they knew about, that because they've got the Aquarian Gospels. So they knew that we were going to have an energetic shift. What they didn't realize is there's more than this our particular part of the realm shifting. It's more of that our echo, our stroke, our whole cosmos part is shifting as well. So there's a bigger, massive shift that's coming. That's what they are aware of now, due to them being able to look at certain things. That's hence why if they've said that they can't have it, no one will. And that's why they've been trying to mandate the pork on everybody, because humanity, if it moves to its natural state of being, when it moves to its next phase, then all this crap that we're seeing right now with this money and all that stuff would all be going. Humanity would be living in a more of a high dimensional consciousness sphere, and they wouldn't be dealing with money per se like that. So we're at a point where both crossroads are still, because we haven't finished the revelatory period, both crossroads are still there at the moment, and we could be going to either one, and it is down literally to humanity to decide what happens. Hence why they're using mind control technology to keep us down in low vibration. So that's what's going on. So
I think
interesting features we've got.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. No, I think it's always been us. I think we, the people, we can manifest goodness, we can manifest hate, we can manifest evil. It's what you tune into, and I've always tuned into good stuff. I know the bad stuff goes on. I try not to partake in it.
Same here.
So I think people are just generally changing their attitudes. They're coming into different points of awareness. They're seeing things differently. They're changing their attitudes, their lives, their everyday activities are changing. And I think we're not far off of a critical mass. I think so many people now are just they're away. They've I think our work is done in many ways. It's just seeing it across the line. We need to see it across the line. We need to stop the dirtiness, the nastiness. There's no need for what they're doing. And I'm hoping that, I've got police people now ringing me up. We're not registering our kids. And I'm like, well, why is that? We've been watching you. You're pulling on their heartstrings. They're changing their gas and electric meters. I'm thinking, I just have to shake myself that these things are happening. We're living in good times in many ways. We really are.
Yeah, that's why I'm not looking at it negatively, because I'm not putting certain stuff out in the public. We don't speak private, Dave, but there's some stuff that I've got that I'm seeing, and the stuff that I'm aware of. I'm like, whoa, this realm's being shifted, and like the hijacks. It's like, it's not as negative as what the men in the mainstream. There's a lot more stuff that they're not telling us about that I'm aware of that we're not being told about, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we don't need to be in fear. But we are still in that point where it still could go either way. But those of us who really know what's going on have got souls, and we can't die. We're infinite beings, and the potential of humanity is massive. And we're at a point where it can go either way. But I'm more optimistic the most due to where I'm at the moment. So yeah, I'm like you, Dave. I don't live in the fear. I've let that, they can try and push that as much as they want. Ultimately, it's a free will universe. So ultimately, they require our consent for everything. So therefore, the battle of consciousness is so important. If people are not registering their children, great, because then there's no 62 AKV. Then that's fantastic. More people are coming free. Even since Corona, I've noticed there's a bigger shift in consciousness where people are not playing the book. You know what I mean? The government's not having its own way. This is why they spend all the time on tele-live vision, pouting all the lies, because they're so desperate right now. They're absolutely fretting right now because they're losing their grip. And you can see it's like the dead man that saw the drown that don't realize. I'm with you, Dave. I completely see this. There's a greater side of this that is actually there, and the potential is there. So yeah, I'm not worried at all. It's just a case of it being interested to see what humanity as a whole decides to choose for itself. Those of individual, we're already there, Dave. It's where everybody else is choosing to come.
True enough. Ain't that true words? Right, we're just up at 1:15, guys and girls. I've had a very stressful day. I've been very busy out in my Velomobile. Mike, what's your summing up thoughts on tonight's show?
Two things. While I was sitting and listening to Del there, I think it reminded me of the Book of Ruth. So I looked it up and I remembered something, and from what he said makes me optimistic. And Ruth, in this Book of Ruth says, "Where thou lodgest, I will lodge. Thy people should be my people, and my God, even to the end." And that's the optimism. The other thing is the other thing that reminded me of was a guy called Harry Hopkins. Harry Hopkins was a diplomat sent over. It was an old socialist commie, I suppose, but he was sent over by Roosevelt about to decide whether America should do the lease lend. And I have to say that he was the most extraordinary man. Died of cancer. However, and he said this about the English race, about the race of these United Kingdom. And I think this is probably the most profound things that a man ever said about our race. He said, "People here are amazing, and if courage alone can win, the result will be inevitable." And I think people must take that in their hearts here and remember those words, because we are an amazing race of people. The Brits are fabulous. Put us all together, we will destroy anybody in our way. Nobody's got the better of us ever. Hitler tried it, Kaiser tried it, Napoleon tried it. All right, so some tosser 1,000 years ago got away with it. Okay, but did he really? It took a Viking army to do that. What I would say is, listen to Del, and I thank you, Del, for coming on tonight, because your word, you got wisdom in your words, and you got knowledge, and people must understand that there is always a place to go. They can come to your show and listen to what you say on Tuesdays, like they can come here on Thursday, listen to Dave, who's got lots of compassion and have got a pure and good heart. And I know him as a friend. I love him dearly. He's a lovely man, and so are you, Del. You are good men. And that's what's missing in this world, good men, And I feel that if people like you can find a voice in a broader, place, like a nationwide voice, then I think this nation has hope. All the time we listen to these miscreants, these people who only want to enrich themselves at our expense, we will suffer what we're suffering right now. And so I hope and urge you all to listen to what these two guys have said, listen to the words I just quote from Book of Ruth and what Harry Hopkins said, and say, in my heart, I wish you all well. I wish everybody well, because I'm away next week. I won't be here next week, but I would say to both of you, thank you for coming on. Thank you, Del. You're an amazing man. And Dave, you are, I met you some years ago, and you are the most amazing person. And if people will take heed of what you both say and listen to the words which are given freely and unbiased without any side, but just knowledge of what the reality of the situation you're in, we will get through this, and we will come out as winners. Valor is something in our hearts, and I'm sure that we can take that forward and use it to sustain us in these hours of darkness, because as Del said, there is light at the end of the tunnel. So that's what I'm going to say.
God bless you, mate. Del, what you got to say as before we wrap this up?
No, I'm pretty much there. I think I agree with what you've all said. You can only offer the truth. That's it. We're a fantastic standpoint. Humanity's got the chance to do something amazing. That's going to be a revolutionary period. Whatever people decide to do with themselves, it will be a free will issue. There's going to be no more fence sitting. You will have to choose a side, and I think most people will say, "Well, they know which side they're going to join because they ain't going to join the other side." I can tell you that now because they can see the decrepit, demonic, whatever it is that they're doing. And most people are going to look at that and think, "I'm not here. I was never here to do. I was here to see what that is, and I now can make a choice where I'm not going to be around that, be a part of that, or be around that." So for me, you can only offer the truth, honor the principle, and just see this play out. And I'm confident we'll do what needs to be done, and we'll get through. I'm absolutely confident based on stuff that I'm getting anyway. So I'm like you, Dave. I'm not worried. It's just a case of everybody else picking up the information and applying the math themselves, and they'll see that we're brilliant and we've got a massive potential. And they need us. They need us. We don't need them. And this is once people get that consciousness and that awareness, then once you realize you just need each other, then the parasite dies, because the parasite can only feed off something when it doesn't realize it's there. Once you realize what a parasite is, you kick it off, and once it's gone, that's it. You're free. So we just have to offer the truth and keep it moving. Simple as that.
Yeah, nice one.
Can I also say, see this T-shirt I'm wearing? As this T-shirt, look, it says Knebworth 1975. I was there. I was at 75. I was in Knebworth in 1975. I saw Pink Floyd do a little bit of Dark Side, and they didn't medal. And I have to say to you, it was one of the, probably because I was pharmaceutically disadvantaged at the time, but I would say it was fabulous. So I thought, just to let you know that there's some good. It's not all doom and gloom, really, I suppose, but that was memorable. Yeah, God bless Pink Floyd, because we will all see everybody on the dark side of the moon, because there's a lot more light there than we are led to believe.
Right, guys and girls, it's 22 minutes past 10. All 222s. What a lovely time to be leaving. We'll see you all again next week. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Del. We will see you. We love you all.
No problem, Dave.
We walk in the light. I'll see you all soon. Take care.